Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. Today's video, those IC boys are back. IceRiver does have a new ASIC. This is the KS5L. We're going to look at it. We're going to talk about it. We have the price, spec, shipping window, all that stuff. We're going to see how it stacks to the competition and see if this thing makes sense at all, okay? Going to kind of give a brief overview as Kaspa ASIC mining as a whole also. So let's have this little discussion, all right? So if that sounds good, guys, stay tuned. Let's get to this thing. So let's get right to it. KS5L is officially released, supposedly sold out, although it's available from vendors for a cheaper price. So again, this is just to build hype. 13K, 12 terahash, 3400 watts. Ships the end of April. So April 15th to April 30th, but we all know that means it ships on April 30th. Right? So immediate comparisons. If we compare it to the KS3M, twice the hash rate, same wattage. So doubling the efficiency. Excellent. The other easy comparison is the IB Link. Slightly better, about the same price. So as far as like comparing it to the competition, it's just another KS Max. Okay, kind of meh. That's why a lot of us weren't too excited about it. Because literally the KS Max, 11 terahash, 3400 watts. This guy's 12 terahash, 3400 watts. About the same price. The IB Link, they're having production issues. I don't know what the heck's going on. I think they oversold, so it's not really in stock anywhere. But when it does come back in stock, it's probably going to be about the same price. It was about 10.5K when it first came out, but then ballooned to 13, 15, 17K because people were buying them like crazy. Ultimately, though, when it does come back in stock, it'll most likely be right in this price range also. Okay? So, when we compare it to the KS5, KS5 definitely the superior unit. Efficiency-wise, has double the efficiency of that guy. The difference, though, and to me, what is most important with Kaspa ASIC mining, price per terahash. That's where IceRiver has consistently been beating Bitmain from the freaking get-go. KS5, 20 terahash. KS5L, 12. The KS5 is about, let's give them the benefit of doubt. Let's call it 30K. Easy math. Two KS5Ls, 26K. So it's beating them, even though it is realistically a little bit higher. And you're getting 24 terahash over the 20. Pretty big difference. So yes, it is a lot less efficient because you're going to spend more than double the wattage. Currently, Kaspa ASIC mining is still so freaking profitable, it's borderline irrelevant. Typically, a lot of other ASICs, when you see something come out that's double the efficiency, it wrecks everything else. The difference here is that it's still so freaking profitable that at this point, it doesn't matter. Will it get to a point that it matters? 100%, for sure. Currently, though, right now, and with Kaspa ASIC mining, the name of the game is speed, is to get all the coins you can as quickly as possible. So right now, the name of the game isn't efficiency. It's price per terahash, which if we do that metric, which again, that's my personal point of view, the KS5L is 100% the better deal. Is it the better unit? Is it the best unit? Absolutely not. Bang for the buck, though, it's there. Now, do I think it's a good deal? Okay, so let's look at MSRP. Yes, IceRiver has it at 13K, but we all know that if you were buying from there, you're going to get hit with those tariffs. You're going to get freaking wrecked. Don't do it. Most of you guys know, but if you don't know, do not buy expensive ASICs from IceRiver unless you want to pay a freaking 30% tariff. You're going to get it through one of the vendors. So, the vendors also have it about the same price. Nhash, out of the bigger stores, is one of the better prices. They have it under 13K shipped. It'll be $12,749 plus about $200 shipping. Factor that in. There are direct vendors a lot of you guys deal with, especially with IceRiver ASICs. Shout out to T-Swift. He's going to have the best price and the best track record with getting them the quickest. So if you're interested there, hit him up. You guys know where to find him. But street price is actually 13K. It's not where we're thinking, well, it's going to be 15, 16K. It's 13K because even the higher end stores, which like Crypto Miner Bros is typically 15 to 20% higher than everybody else, they also only have it at 13.7 all in. Okay, so the street price, we'll call it at about 13K. So, do I think it's a good deal? Again, my perspective is going to be skewed because I have skin in the game. I have a KS3M that I bought back in November, received it early December, so I'm going to compare the value propositions to that. If we do an easy, direct comparison, in my opinion, no. Reason being, when I bought my KS3M, I bought it at, it was 8,000 shipped. It was about $7,800, $200 shipping, AK shipped. The reason I say the value proposition is not there is because at the time when I received it, so not even when I purchased it, when I received it, when I had it in hand, it was yielding more than the KS5L is currently, and it was a much cheaper price. This guy is 13K and it's yielding 640 CAS currently. A month from now, which you're going to probably receive it a little bit more than a month from now, this is going to lower. By what extent, we have yet to find out depending on how big these next batches are, because we know every month what happens. Hash rate and difficulty goes up, your yield goes down, and that monthly emissions reduction of 6%. So it's not going to be 641 by the time you get it. Okay, so again, when I bought my KS3M, I was yielding more than that, and I paid about 8K, and that's me getting like late in the game. Value proposition wise, for me, would I consider it? No. It would have to be a good chunk less for me to even consider. Realistically though, because I'm going to compare it to when I purchased it. For me, it's just the payback time when I purchased it was like under 3 months. Realistically, it's going to be longer than that because again of those factors. So them listing it here, if everything goes perfectly and stays as is, which we all know it's not, it's going to be damn near 6 months. Realistically, it's probably going to be closer to 9 months to a year. The biggest thing with these Kaspa ASICs was having that super quick break even. May you still hit it? Is it still possible? Depends on your viewpoint and when you consider break even. This is kind of a hot topic and one that I'm not a big fan that people don't really talk about. The way I look at break even is the yield, not the fiat value. Reason being is that if in 3 months from now, if Kaspa's at freaking 40 cents, then yes, all of them are going to break even. The reason I don't factor the break even point that way, I factor in how much Kaspa I would be able to accrue if I just used that 13K and bought it outright. To me, that's the break even point. If I would yield more Kaspa by mining it or buying it, that's the factor. That's what I look at. That's what I consider break even. So like for example, even with my KS3M, technically depending on the day of the price point, it broke even quite a while back if you go by that metric. If we go by my metric, which is what made more sense, buying the Kaspa outright or buying that unit, I still have about a month to go, but I'm 100% confident I'm going to hit it. Currently, since the beginning of December, it was like December 5th, 6th, 7th, somewhere around there, to now, so less than 4 months, I've made about 55,000 Kaspa. It's pretty good. My break even is going to be about 62,000 Kaspa. If I would have used that AK and just bought Kaspa instead, that was about the amount that would have yielded. So for me, that's a break even. And even undergoing that metric, I'm still going to hit it about a month earlier than what I had projected. So when I do my projections and to see if something's worthwhile, I try to do it more worst case scenario. Honestly, I didn't think it'd be this bad, but again, that's why I do everything worst case scenario. Okay, so it is still a little bit ahead of time, but I was pretty aggressive with playing with the numbers, but that's an excellent reason as to why, right? I didn't think the hash rate would go up that aggressively, but it did, and this is what you have to account for. So for me, running the numbers with this thing, it's a year break even on a miner that's 13K that after that year isn't going to be yielding a whole lot of Kaspa. Just isn't super appealing, at least at this price point. That doesn't mean that the KS5L is going to be garbage or that the KS5, because the prices are eventually going to go down. That profitability number is going to go down because that's what the price is based on. It's not because the unit costs that much to manufacture. They base it off of the profitability of that unit. So in 6 months from now, when it's yielding, instead of the KS5 Pro is making 141 bucks a day, now it's making 50 bucks a day. Guess what? That price ain't going to be 30K anymore. It's going to be 8K, 9K, 10K, whatever it is. But then at the rate we're going, we're going to have a KS freaking 9 by then also, right? So a lot of things to factor in, but to me, the risk is too high at that price point. What would be enticing and what maybe they're going to end up doing, releasing a refresh of their lower end tiers. So releasing, instead of, that's could be the reason why we haven't seen a KS1, a KS2. Maybe they're refreshing that lineup. Like, what could be potentially appealing is a scaled down version of the KS5L. Just the same way they scaled down the KS2, KS2 and KS1. So if they were to release a version that's, let's say, a third of the KS5L, maybe it being one hash board at 400 or 4 terahash at like 1200 watts, that could be more appealing, be coming in at like 3500, 4K. Maybe something to consider. Realistically, for me, I already have skin in the, I'm good with what I got. But it would be something to consider, right? Depending on the trajectory, maybe what's happening with CAS, maybe something happened, and now I'm more bullish and maybe I want more. Okay, that would be more appealing than anything, but at this price point, it's a lot of risk, it's a lot of money, and not enough upside, especially considering the fact that, not confirmed, but extremely likely, sometime this year, we're going to be seeing this craze all over again with the lithium ASICs. It's mostly going to be next. Bitmain hasn't confirmed it, but all the signs are there that sometime this year, whether it's in a couple of months, 6 months, the end of the year, sometime this year, somebody's going to release a lithium ASIC and most likely a RXD ASIC at some point. So if you're into YOLOing and like risking it for the biscuit, that would be the one that would be more appealing for me personally, because again, I already have skin in the game. I have a ton of Kaspa that I bought early on, so I'm good with my exposure. So that's why my perspective, if I want to YOLO into something, spend big money to try to get quick money, I would wait for that, which who knows, it might be a stupid strategy. Like, I wouldn't rely on that, because what's going to happen? If Bitmain releases a unit, it's going to be a big boy, and that thing's probably going to be like the original KS3 where it was like 50K or whatever. Don't be surprised to see that. And even if IceRiver releases like a 0 Pro version, or like it's a miniaturized version, it's still probably going to be super expensive, because we now know IceRiver's real. We know the potential. We saw the game plan. We saw how it all played out. So they're going to know that also. So it's not going to be as cheap, most likely. Who knows? But it's definitely something I will be closely following. And to me, that would be more appealing. So I'm not saying that it's too late for Kaspa ASIC mining. It's just, for me, the value proposition isn't what it was in the past. So again, comparing it to like even like November, which was considered late. I mean, realistically, that's nowhere near you guys who got in back in like June, July, August, those initial batches, especially the early batches with like the KS3L and such. It's just not there for me, right? At least at these price points. Maybe if it was like under 10K, 8K, somewhere around that point. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But that's why for me it's just too much risk, too many things out of your control, and not enough reward for that. But it's hard to say also too, because when you really factor it in, $77 a day, bros. $77 a day, yielding 640 Kaspa. If you think Kaspa is going to hit 50 cents in the bull market, so that's why it's a risky proposition, and I get it. I see the appeal. It just really depends on how bullish you are on Kaspa, what your exposure level is at, because I know a lot of you guys, it's if you have 0% exposure and you want exposure, in many cases it makes more sense, especially if you run it as a business, right? Because it's, yes, you can do all the ROI calculators and all that stuff, but realistically, you buy that unit, that whole unit's a write-off, all the electric is a write-off. Those are big factors also. Okay, so in many cases, it can make more sense to do that, just depending on how you're doing it. If you're not doing any of that stuff, then in many cases, it's going to make more sense to buy the coin. But it just really depends on your setup, really depends on your exposure, it really depends on what your plans are. Okay, but like for me, for example, again, I have my KS3M, I have a huge bag of Kaspa. I'm good with what I got. And at this price point, it's not super appealing. The value proposition needs to be better, meaning it just needs to be cheaper for it to make sense for me personally. And that's why it gets tricky to like either recommend or not recommend, because who knows, maybe the hash rate doesn't go up as much, maybe we go sideways, and maybe these prices stay the same, so they're not appealing to buy, so the hash rate difficulty doesn't go up as aggressively, and it continues to earn $70, 65, only slight reductions month to month. That's also possible also. Okay, so you have to see if it makes sense to you. My personal thing, no. As we compare it to the competition, we compare it to what's there, we compare it against the KS5, it is a solid unit. It is bang for the buck wise, probably the best deal. Seems like it might be a better unit than the BM-KS Max. Again, there's not a whole lot out in the wild. It's hard to really judge. But like, for example, me, I haven't had any issues with my KS3M. Let me know in the comments, guys, if any of you guys have had issues. I know there's a lot of people saying that these things are horrible, 40% failure rates and all this nonsense. I personally haven't seen that. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you guys have any issues. I know a lot of you guys purchased around the same time I did. Let me know, guys, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is good? Is it something that's on your radar? I know a lot of you guys are still super big and trying to get one, even if it doesn't make as much sense. And again, it can make sense. It does make sense. It's up to you and your risk tolerance, right? If you're going to spend $13K and that's the bulk of your like bear market earnings, and it's not a good idea. But again, if you're a person who has a ton of extra money and you're just looking for something to buy, something to YOLO into, then I can see the appeal, right? But it's just, for me, the value proposition isn't there, and especially when we know that there's the potential of these other ASICs on the horizon, right? That's kind of what I'm waiting for, even though it may never come, right? It's all speculation, just like we've been talking about the L9. I thought that thing was going to come out for sure last fall, and here we are like 6 months later. And nothing, right? It's just, who knows what the heck happens? Who knows where we go? All I know is that when I bought mine, value proposition made sense, and so far it has done extremely well. I am super happy, and a lot of it is thanks to all the FUD. So shout out to all the people who are FUDing the hell out of it, because y'all the real MVPs, especially the ones telling people not to buy these ASICs. Shout out to all of you guys, because you guys made it possible for all of us to make our break even on our machines. So special thanks to you guys. Let me know again in the comments, guys, what you guys think. Are you guys been buying? Did you guys buy one already, you freaking degens? Because again, I am kind of late. I'm like 2 days late on this thing. Let me know in the comments though, guys. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. And I am out.